Well, I'm having an evening, wonderful evening chat with the pianist Ketevan Kartvelishvili. I hope I got close. And we're going to be talking about her 2017 debut CD, right? Is this your debut?
Yeah, it is debut. Yeah.
Ah, what an absolutely stunning performance. We're going to talk about it. Her debut CD, everybody, on Blue Griffin label, the Blue Griffin label. It's called The Chase, and there have to be many reasons why you made that decision. Wait till everybody out there that is a pianist hears this programming, and part of you, some of you may say, yeah, makes sense, but I can guarantee you, I'm looking at Ketty right in the face here. I have never heard this music in the way you play it. The preciseness, the clarity of articulation, it's just fabulous. As I told you, I said, but here's the program, everybody, on this CD. Liszt, Mephisto Waltz, number one. Sure. But like I have never heard it before. I have never heard such inner workings. Liszt, oh, only the sonata in B minor, the huge, massive, gargantuan masterpiece of Liszt, again, as I have never heard it before. Really, honestly, this was just a revelation to me about how you play and how you uh, discover things in your pianism and your fingers and all the rest of it. We'll talk about it. Bartok, we talked earlier, out of doors. I had never heard these pieces, cute little pieces with drums and pipes. Barcarola, Musettes, the night music, and the chase. And then, just to top it off, as though there was nothing else to do, Prokofiev, the number seven sonata, the incredible B flat major sonata, Opus 83. That's a mouthful, that's a handful, that's a lifeful, that's a brainful, and we'll talk about it. Let me do a quick intro, Ketty, if you'll allow me, and then I promise I'll keep my mouth shut and I'll let you go, because this really interests me. Born in Tbilisi, Georgia. I hope I
Yes.
got that.
Yes.
Uh, okay, here it is. I'm sure you get in trouble for this, although to a family of physicists.
Yes.
And when
My
I
parents are physicists, and suddenly I'm a pianist. So it's just big,
but
big difference.
but what it says to me, based on what I've heard on this CD, is brain matter, brain matter, brain matter. You've inherited a lot of brain matter from your family of physicists, and also maybe in some strange, interesting way, a way maybe that a physicist's way of dissecting the music that you play. Have you ever thought of that? Because the
Uh,
detail that you get into is incredible.
uh, yes and no. I don't know. Maybe it's so. Basically, you felt that my parents were physicists when you listen my recording.
That's what I'm thinking in the way your mind works. That's what's so really
So
brilliant,
that's
possibly.
a very big compliment. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Anyway, let's see. And of course, graduate. You discovered at 5. Suddenly, your physicist parents, family have trouble on their hands. They've got this brilliant young pianist. Played with the Tbilisi Symphony at the age of 12. All that good stuff. Graduated from the State Conservatorium. And tell me how long you had your radar on Indiana University and another Georgian, the pianist Alexander Toretsi's piano studio.
So I moved in United States in 2009, and I graduated in 2013. I completed two diplomas, which is artist and performer diploma. And my professor, as you already mentioned, it's very famous Georgian pianist Alexander Toradze. And he was a big reason why I moved here in South Bend, Indiana. Otherwise, I would never ever thought about this probably, right? I would just go in New York, maybe in Los Angeles or somewhere else in a bigger city. But since he was here, that's the reason why I came, and I had absolutely fantastic time with him. He is incredible pianist. He is absolutely amazing person, and he done a lot for me. I'm really thankful and really lucky that I was part of the piano studio 4.5 years.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
was wonderful time for me.
And by the way, if we're talking years a little bit, let's see, 2015. Let me count them on my fingers. 2016, 2017, 2018. It has only been 4 years.
4 years since I graduated, yes,
And this
and
CD coming into existence, I have read some of the wonderful remarks people have praised you about. And um, I just I immediately understand these remarks because you are an enormous talent. I mean, just an enormous talent, and I'm just so thrilled to have discovered you. It's really fabulous. And here's why we'll touch on it, and then I'm going to ask you about your training, about how much of this fits with your training, even in Georgia and then in Indiana. Precise, clean articulation. Incredible. And we are talking about music that's moving along at 8,000 miles an hour. I, I mean, I heard the Liszt sonata is, as every pianist knows, it's just monumental. It's huge and moody and temperamental and nostalgic. I mean, it's a novel. Hang on, I just got to fix something here. In typical Lisztian manner, big, huge panorama. And I heard every single note. I'm certain of it. So what I'm saying is the 10 fingers, all of them powerful and balanced, the left and right hand balanced. I'm not a pianist, but this is just what I heard. This exact unison of all 10 fingers being heard. Where does that come from, aside from just natural talent? Is this part of the training you've had, or
Uh, I always,
it's a hard one?
when I was kid, I started to play on the piano by myself. Since you already know that my parents are physicists, they never ever think anything like that their daughter would be a pianist, musician. They were thinking that probably I would be a physicist or engineer or someone like that, right?
Something sensible.
Yes, but when I was around like 4 or 5 years old, I started to try a little bit by myself to try play on the piano. And my father mentioned this, and he was like really amazed about my technique, which was natural. Basically, I have natural technique. I worked a lot,
Of course.
many years, of course, to just get a really good quality and sound and deep and everything. But fingers were just moving by themselves whenever I was 5, 6 years old.
Good
And also
genius.
started. I just no. I wish I could be, but thank you
So,
very much. But
so I guess what you have just confessed to me is, and by the way, some people are natural conductors. I mean, I know that I'm a natural conductor since I was a kid, and some people have a hard time. And I think that this might be what you're saying is just it's just natural since you were a kid. This clarity of your playing.
I had this gift from God. Just happened. I don't know how, but some people, some pianists, they do have
Yeah,
this.
well, it's extraordinary. I'll tell you, I was just dumbfounded. Um, I always ask the standard question because it is with so much repertoire. It's interesting about how you formulated this program, of course, for your premiere CD. And by the way, people love you because I don't have the name of the patron, but that this CD was underwritten by a patron. Now, this means people believe in you, and I believe in you for sure. I'm dumbfounded by the level of your playing. Tell me about the organization of this program. How did it come about? What kind of a struggle?
Basically, first reason why I created this program is like I performed those pieces a lot in my life, many times in Georgia, except Bartok. Bartok was a new one. And also, I performed many times in the United States as well, in many competitions and festivals and concerts. And many times it was really successful, and people really liked this, and people really admired this. And I was really happy because this program is really powerful, really difficult, really challenging technically and every other way as well. And also many pianists are performing nowadays this program, which is very popular as well. And it makes the program even more harder. If everyone plays, if everyone performs,
I'm glad you said that. Yeah, I'm glad
yeah,
you
you
said
really
that.
need to be really careful because since you know that 1,000 million pianists are performing Mephisto Waltz, Prokofiev number 7, and everyone knows every note. I was really careful, but I took a risk, and I decided to do this. I really wanted to have my first CD really powerful and very attractive in every way, and hopefully that worked. I don't know.
How many times
So
do I have to tell you this? It's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, your playing is just stunning. For example, I saw as I was getting, I've listened to this CD 3, 4 times. I guess by this afternoon I gave another listen. The list of Mephisto Waltz number one. I thought, fine, that's fine, that's good. I understand. It's a big opener. It's wonderful. And then you played. And my brain kind of melted away. Here's what I sort of wrote down. The piano has a really bright sound. The instrument I thought had a really bright, wonderful
Right?
sound and
Yeah.
color. Uh, and also I found you had a very interesting control of pedal. I think now remember I'm not a pianist, but there's something about your
I don't-
your use of pedal or not. Speak.
Uh, Basically, I want to mention that I really love pedal. I wish to
Interesting.
do more, but also I need to be really careful whenever I'm playing some really crazy, difficult passages or octaves or something. If you will push the pedal all the way down, it will sound like, oh my God, what's happening?
Yeah,
It won't
mush
be that
too.
clear, of course, but I'm always controlling my pedal, of course, during the performance when I'm, especially if I'm playing something really fast, you need to be even more carefully. When you're playing something lyrical part or softer or slower movements, it's easier to just control pedal. But when you are just really excited during the performance and you are playing some octaves and jumps in your left hand, you should be really, really clear and careful. You need to control everything together
Now,
at the
now,
same
does that sound like a physicist in her lab by any chance? Because here's exactly what you have described. That nothing is clouded. I wrote to myself, especially in all those fabulous fast passages, which can so easily become mush with too much pedal or
It's
with an
very,
over enthusiastic,
very,
So the strength of your fingers, of your 10 fingers, it's like each one is an equal partner. Now, that's a great compliment, I think, to a pianist because I heard every single finger playing with the same intensity, the same energy, all of that. It's brilliant.
that's one of the most biggest compliments that I ever heard about my performance. So I would like to thank you. It's very, very important, and I'm really happy that you like my CD.
Well,
So
it's such clean playing, and again,
try your best.
I watch this, but even getting left and right hand to be equal partners, how tricky and tough that is. This is
Really,
what you are.
really difficult. Yeah,
You
and
have
also
this.
I would like to mention that I record whole CD in 2 days, in couple hours. So it was really, really challenging.
Let's see. Did I
Really.
me- did I mention energy yet? Somewhere in here, I'm seeing here. I just another note. I say Jesu. The fast passages are so damn clean and brilliant and almost individually colored. Now that, ah, I mean,
Oh,
you can't ask for anything more. And then I say, wow, wow, wow.
I cannot believe that I did this. I cannot believe
It's just the clarity. That's the big, and you know very well that's true. Clarity, utter and complete clarity, so that a listener can hear everything. And this
I
is
tried
this,
my best.
this
I,
is the
I
big
was
key.
always thinking in that way, and I wanted to make it as clean as possible and as good as possible. So hopefully, I'm happy that you liked
It succeeded,
it.
yes. Let's talk for just a minute. We mentioned Mephisto. What an interesting performance, and everybody performs the piece. It was just so interesting for all the reasons that I've described a second ago. I could hear everything. The sonata in B minor, you know, the, by the way, dedicated to Schumann, to Robert Schumann, who died, I think, in 1856 or 1855, something in there.
As I believe, I'm not sure. I might be wrong.
18,
It's just
1855.
56 maybe.
56, I think, yeah.
I
And
think
and,
56.
and we're not just being
I don't want to make some mistakes.
and we're okay. I'll make the mistakes, but we're not just talking details. It's about that period. It's about that feeling. That this is the center of a tragic time for Robert Schumann, and Liszt knew Schumann well. Uh,
Well,
and this sonata is deep, deep, and deeper, and it is also a giant tone poem.
trying
How did you
one moment. So
one
now
movement, 32
which
minutes, something in
32
there?
minutes, sometimes 35, depends of the speed,
Yeah.
but
Well, how is
minimum
it? How is it done? Tell me, and don't tell me you started playing it at 12. I just cannot go there.
No, I didn't. So basically, when I moved in the United States, Alexander Toradze, he said I was a student at that time, and I wanted to perform B minor sonata always, but I didn't try before. So he suggested me, and I absolutely agree. I was like so happy to hear that. I was like, yes, I want to definitely learn this sonata, and I started to learn, and it took 4 or 5 days for me to memorize whole thing. It was not ready, of course, for
Can I please pick my jaw up off the floor? Thank you very much. 4 or 5 days to memorize that monster.
And in 5 days, I just had lesson with Toradze, and he was pretty amazed because this is huge work. Of course, I was practicing only this sonata, nothing more, and couple hours a day, but still, like, to memorize all this 30 minutes, one movement, big, big, huge piece, it's pretty difficult. But I was so excited, and I always wanted to perform this. I was really, I tried my best to do this, and we had incredible lesson. He gave me wonderful suggestions about lyrical parts, about dramatic parts, or about technical, or every way. He performed by himself as well when he was younger, and I'm sure it was amazing. I never heard this, unfortunately, but I don't have a recording, but I wish I could have and listen to him as well. So.
Well, now you have a recording of yourself, and I have a funny feeling in your old age you'll look back and say, hey, it's still pretty good. Because it's just amazing. Let me see what I've written down here. Here we go. Again, clearly a huge talent. I want everybody to know this. I want people to know this huge talent. And I remember everybody, I keep forgetting this, but of the video interview, links to buy the CD, all that good stuff, videos of you playing, the whole thing, pictures, images, will go up at performingartsreview.net. You have your designated page, and I'm proud to have you there. And then I'll catch up on reviews, as everybody knows that works with me. I'm having a hard time getting caught up. But the point is, this is such a serious piece from that. I'm speaking of the B minor sonata, and I think we've pretty well touched on it. But what I here, for example, I wrote down, if whatever the first time I heard it, her painterly sense and character, and I mean your character, make this just an utterly unique and wholly colorful adventure for the listener.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm just really happy to hear
this. That's not bad, is it?
It's.
But that's it. And see why I hit you hard about being the spawn of physicists. It's the mind. It's the mind. There's the talent, of course, but your mind has worked all this complicated stuff out, and I just admire it tremendously. Stunningly bittersweet. I'm speaking of the gorgeous kind of section in this sonata, performed by Keti with the most discreet eloquence. Now there's the secret. Hang on, sorry, rush hour traffic driving by, but it's just a revelation. I just want to know what happens. Do you go take a nap after performing it, or what? I mean, you have to be a basket case.
The minor sonata. No, I even cannot sleep after. Every time I'm performing, I cannot.
So just it gets you so worked up, so pumped
yes, up. Before performance and after performance, I cannot sleep. So basically 2 nights off. It's crazy, I know, but then I'm really tired after 2 or 3 days. Of course, sure. I feel, I lost all my energy, and my brain is just like, it's difficult. But after
that's what art is about, really, isn't it? Good art, high art. When you, a servant of high art, I don't want to sound too corny here, but really serve the art. Yes, you need a spa vacation afterward. I mean, it's just such an intellectual and technical task. Anyway, beautiful. Tell me the story about these Bartók out of doors. I'm not sure whether we discussed your discovering them.
So Bartók. As you know already, probably you listen this, I'm sure you listen the 5 different pieces, different characters, different quality of sound, and especially last two pieces, which is Night Music and The Chase, just totally different characters. Night Music is
Very
very like
strange. Magical. Pure
magical.
effect. Imagery,
Yeah,
fog, haze, distance, vapor. That's what I wrote down.
wow, nice. And The Chase is one of the most challenging pieces on the CD technically because of the left hand. You already hear this.
Mm-hmm.
And the distance, eventually, the distance is grows like in this 2 octaves and 3 octaves. And then the last 2 or 3 pages, it's like incredibly difficult. It's very short, as you know already, very short, like 3-4 minutes about that, and
it's almost a
very
perpetuum mobilum, that
yes,
underlying
and
movement.
it's pretty hard to memorize as
I'll
well.
bet. Yeah.
Yes, it was pretty hard. So that was one of the reasons why I call the chase of CD, the chase, the title of the CD.
Yes.
This
I
piece.
continue because that was my next question, which is obviously it has heavy meaning. Here's my take. You're in the chase, all right.
I'm in the chase of I'm in chase of success.
Exactly. And
Exactly.
and career and when I really put that together, I thought that is the
That,
chase,
that's
and that's
it. That's
exactly it.
the main reason. It's
Yeah.
chase of success. And also I'm performing the chase, which is one of the most challenging pieces in the CD technically. So those two combinations just
Yeah.
work.
Perfect title. Perfect brain work. Your parents should be so proud. Now tell me, I think I told you, I hope off camera, and I'm not repeating myself, but Prokofiev, when I was a kid, 12 years old, I
Okay.
was into orchestral music, of course, 1812 Overture and all that good stuff, but for some reason Prokofiev got a hold of me, and it was the piano sonatas that got a hold of me, and I was enchanted for at least a couple, 3 years. Number seven. This is 1942. This is in Stalingrad. In fact, it's kind of called Stalingrad.
Stalin. Yes,
One of the
yes, yes.
three war sonatas. And I know from other works, quartets, string quartets, for example, this guy was very near suicide. And a little
Yes.
later on in the early 60s, he was very near suicide. So this is a profound sonata. Tell me how you approached Prokofiev in this particular number seven.
Mm, when I was 19 years old, I listened to Radha's recording and I was absolutely amazed. And I decided to immediately learn this sonata and perform, and which I did. And when I came in the United States, and whenever he showed me how to play Prokofiev, he is one of the best Prokofiev master. I was absolutely shocked. I was just absolutely amazed. And I decided to perform again with him under his lessons. So, and he also suggested me to change many things there because my idea was a little bit different when I was 19. Of course, it's younger age, and his view was totally different about Prokofiev in general. So I tried to just combine my ideas and his ideas somehow together and make it
And you know
work.
what that is? You just described it. I think for in terms of my overview, it's called this sonata is performed with the enthusiasm of youth. And I mean intellectually, there's an enthusiasm of youth, but it's actually almost a poor choice of words because it's such a heavy duty sonata. So therefore, your teacher, the wiser man, helped you perhaps at 19 to begin to understand these things. And believe me, I remember conducting pieces as a young conductor in my 20s that I should never ever have touched. But I just,
Really,
you know what I mean?
really,
And I'm
yeah.
thinking Hindemith, for example. I really had no idea about Hindemith at whatever 23, 24. See what I mean? So as we mature, we find, I'm thinking I'm in my late 60s. I'm finally beginning to figure all this stuff out, how it all works. How do you
Wow,
feel?
so, so interesting process and
Yeah,
very.
absolutely. Well, I think we don't need to really discuss the sonata the number seven in great detail, but I want to know what's going on, what's going to happen next, what are the plans, what's the 5 year plan?
I would love to record another CD, And I really believe that it's going to be Chopin 24 etudes, all of them, which is really, really,
Oh.
that would be even more difficult than the chase. But I'm trying my best and I'm practicing a lot to get there.
And is there a reason? I'm asking it sounds like a dumb question, but is
Okay.
there a reason from the way you work as an intellectual that you're going to focus on Chopin all of the etudes? Anything about how long has that been working in your head? I guess is what I'm asking.
Uh, I I got this idea a couple years ago, actually 10 years ago, and last 10 years I'm thinking, but I still feel that I didn't get there. Still, I still need more time because I performed many of those etudes in my younger age and a
Sure.
couple years ago as well. But I feel that it needs a little more time still to just create whole big cycle like for 24 etude doesn't have to be like 24 etude. It should be one big movement,
Hey, by the
right?
way, I forgot to mention, but that's another thing I mentioned in my notes about the way you play, especially the big list sonata. You understand the arc, the big arc. You get the big arc. So when you just
it,
said that about the Chopin recording, that's really going to be
it
brilliant.
should be one big uh, yeah.
Well, that should take over. That'll keep you busy for a while. Anything else?
Yes. Also, I have couple performances, upcoming performances in Chicago, Pianoforte Foundation in Rhode Island. I will have solo recital. In February 8th, actually, I'm performing duet with my friend at Indiana University South Bend since I'm still living here. And we decided to play Ravel La Valse for two piano
Oh,
and
nice.
Rachmaninoff First Suite.
Oh,
So,
nice. Very
yes.
nice.
So I'm pretty busy and hopefully I'll get more and more opportunities eventually.
Oh, I think so, and I'm going to rant and rave some more and some more and some more about you. So honestly,
Very
what an
much.
incredible talent. We going to wind it down. By the way, how bad is the winter outside your window?
It was unbelievable. Yesterday was minus 26, which
What is
means
that?
that was I don't know what was that. I just opened the door only a couple seconds and immediately closed. Felt really bad. Today is a little bit better, but I never ever felt anything like that, even in Indiana.
Wow.
Even in Indiana, a couple times we had terrible weather.
Oh,
Like
you mean you
I
mean in
remember
Georgia? In Georgia? Even in Georgia?
in Georgia right now it's spring almost.
Ah,
Compared to Indiana, it's in
very
Georgia.
civilized.
We never in Georgia we never had anything like that. We don't have that powerful and very cold winter. Like minus 25, minus 30 never happened there.
And you can see Mount Ararat from Tbilisi, right? Tbilisi, can you see Mount Ararat from Tbilisi? Oh,
We can.
I'm thinking of Yerevan, I think, next door in Romania, in Armenia.
No,
A-
we cannot.
Anyway,
Yes.
enough. I'm sorry. I'm the one that's responsible for getting off the rails here. Ketevan Kartvelishvili, I thank you very much for a wonderful talk about your CD on Blue Griffin label. I'm going to put this all up at performingartsreview.net. The CD is called The Chase. It's absolute perfection and more. It's clarity. It's utter and total and complete clarity in interpretation, in articulation, everything. Mephisto Waltz number 1, the B minor sonata of Liszt, Bartok, this lovely little set of pieces out of doors, and the Prokofiev sonata number 7. Fabulous CD. I am so glad to have had an opportunity to hear it and to meet you. Thanks very much
Thank
for
you.
giving me some time.
It was very nice to meet you. Thank you so much. Very nice to talk to you.
Pleasure.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.